Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of Let's Discuss. Let's Discuss is basically an episode where we focus on all type of things. Like we discuss whatever we want. So, yeah, we discuss whatever we want. Today's
in a video.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go. So today's topic on Let's Discuss is about this awesome movie called American Skin that we're going to be talking about today. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you not watch this video because we're going to spoil the hell out of it. If you have seen it, jump into the discussion, jump into the chat, jump into the comments, and yeah, let us know your thoughts. So without further ado, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, the 3M Media channel, as we give you our first rendition of Let's Discuss. So without further ado, let's roll. So I'm your host, Steve O. Steve. You have seen me on the Speaker Geeker podcast. We got Tommy T. He's over here. He is also from the Speaker Geeker podcast and August Love Story. Yep. And then down below me, that's his lovely wife from August Love Story, the art of the Tika. And over here, kind of diagonal.
all that's like completely different.
Man, what? That's not gonna be right.
It's gonna be like this.
It's gonna be all around the place.
Right.
But
Right.
if they are there when we do it, then you get instantly G from the Speaker Giga podcast as well as Acronym Music. Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm good, man.
Doing good on this fine
Excited
evening.
about this conversation we're about to have.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah,
I don't think we got anybody's reaction to it yet.
Nope.
not yet.
We didn't even talk about it amongst ourselves.
We didn't?
Nope.
I thought we did.
Well, me
Good
and G
job.
a little bit, but,
Yeah, we did a little bit. We cheated a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
just
a
a
little
tad,
bit.
just a
but
tad.
not too
Yeah.
much.
Just a taste.
So, so without further ado, if y'all have not seen it, please go check it out. This movie, and let me pull this up for y'all real quick. This movie came out recently. It's a fairly new movie, and it is directed and written by, let me make sure I get his name right, Nate Parker. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's it.
That's it.
The cool thing about this movie is it is actually presented by Spike Lee. So it is some dope shots that goes on in there that we will bring up and discuss. Also, some other people that are featured in the movie, which if y'all all know him by Ghost, Amari Hardwick is in the movie. He does an amazing job, as well as these two are becoming two of my favorite actors, Theo Rosie, and I don't want to mess his name up, but is it Bo Knapp? I think
that's right. Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah. As well as a host of others that are in the movie as well. So without further ado, man, we're gonna jump into it real quick and we're gonna have this discussion. So without further ado, let's discuss. So let's get into it, man. American Skin. First off, let's get first reactions. Let's do it right now. Let's start with since Artika is the lady in the room, let's let her go first. Ladies first. What was your initial first reaction once seeing this movie?
Once I was finished, I was frustrated.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
That's the first thing. Like at first I said maybe I'm angry, and I was like, no, I'm not angry. I'm frustrated. And I think I was frustrated because all of that can happen, and then the ending is still what it is.
Yeah.
And so that just gave me a sense of being frustrated, and it's almost like we're right back to where we were at the very beginning.
I see your point.
Yeah.
G, first reaction.
Man, I thought it was a beautiful movie. I thought it was cool how they set it up the way that they did, making it like a documentary going on throughout the movie. I didn't see that coming. You know, we kind of talked about that before, but I didn't really see that coming. I just thought it was going to be shot like third person perspective type of thing where it's just this is happening, but they're not aware that it's being filmed. But I thought it was really beautiful. I didn't think about frustration the way that you just said it, Artika. But now that you said that, I can see definitely where you're coming from, as far as like it kind of seeming like we did all of this, so we can come back to basically the same point.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much my first thought.
Tommy T, what's your take? What's your first reaction?
Man, my first reaction was, this is something that everybody should see.
Okay.
Because of the things that we went through last year and previous years, the explanations that we have to have. This is it. I think I even said that somewhere. Was this is the conversation that needs to be had?
You posted that on Facebook.
Yeah, like I was like, this is it right here. And so I strongly believe everybody needs to see it, and then also everybody needs to take something away from it. See what's wrong and what's right in the situation, because so many times it's, well, what did he do? You know, we've seen this story happen so many times, be it with a grown person, be it with a child, be it with a mental ill person, woman, you know, male. We've seen this situation happen so many times and nothing happens. You know, so that was my first reaction to it, and still it's my reaction to it now.
Yeah.
You know.
Gotcha. Did you and Artika watch it together?
Yeah,
Or
we
separate?
did. We did.
Okay, cool. Well, for me, I guess my first reaction was wow. I actually ended up watching it 3 times since the first time that I watched it within them times, because I had to watch it once with my wife, and then she ended up falling asleep, and I had to watch it again with her to the end, which was fine because it was so much in there. It's so much dialogue, so much stereotypes, so much in there that I kept continuously catching, and I even was able to pretty much kind of figure out what my favorite parts were. So, you know, from beginning to end, I was basically wow. Just like G said, and we briefly spoke about it, that I didn't see the whole documentary format coming. I thought that was an incredible touch, as well as a host of others. But Tommy, you got into something very important. We're just gonna jump right in here because you said that was the discussion that needs to be had, and within that film, it was pretty much a whole discussion within it. The main meat of the film was pretty much an entire sit down discussion with the police, with the veterans, because people, if people pay attention, they were black veterans, militant black veterans, as well as the jurors that they selected from the jail, from the people that were locked up, non-violent offenders at that, and then the folks that were just randomly there that was, you know, coming to either pay a ticket or they were just in the building. So it was this massive discussion that was still entertaining by what was going on. And one question that I posed to that is, the first thing I thought about once that whole discussion part was over, or actually during it, was, all right, how much of this was acting and how much of this became real? Because at a certain point I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know if you can act out that part. That seemed like that was a real, like parts of it was a real discussion, and it may not have been completely scripted. So to that, man, I opened up to the floor, man. When you saw that moment of that discussion and throughout, from the whole trial to, you know, all the conversations in there between, you know, the police and Nate Parker, Amari Hardwick, the prisoners and all, did you feel that same way, that at some point it's kind of like, wait, this might not have all been scripted? Like, did you feel like at some point that this became a real conversation, you know, throughout?
No, I feel like that's the beauty, that's the art part of acting. You know, is that it takes you away from, this is actually a movie, but You know what I'm saying? Because the situation itself was so real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of us probably could have been in that movie and been like, damn, and added things here and there and made it what it is. I think that's the beauty of the the content that it was portraying, as well as how talented the actors were. You
Yeah.
know, because it was a strong thing. Not one time did I think like, oh, they feel like that they were acting. The whole time I felt like this was like they just gave them the premise of this what happened. Let's see your reaction to it. You know how would you act, to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like those were natural reactions. Like that one scene with the kid with the older cousin talking to the police. Him saying, I was just trying to have a normal conversation. He wasn't trying to have a normal conversation, but that's what would happen. The police come to your house and you're upset about something and you don't have to have a leash or a muzzle on your mouth when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to a situation like that. So that was one of the things that I found it funny, but as well as um, like endearing, like the most serious part of it. You know what I'm saying? This is family member, and this
Yeah.
is his natural reaction to his family member being killed by the police, and then nobody done anything, and you're trying to come back and tell them that, hey, we need you to tell the people to be cool. Like, fuck you and the ship you came in on, man. you know?
Pretty much. Yeah. That's I thought that was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I've though we've been through this a lot of times with a lot of people being murdered, and then we see the families have to come on TV and say, "Hey, y'all, calm down, fuck all that bullshit." Um, we don't get the privilege of being like in the house with them
Yeah.
people when the police come in there and talk to them and say, "Hey, we need you to make a statement and shit." And so like you don't know what that looks like for real. Like yeah, you
Yeah.
can imagine what it looks like, but I was very proud to see this little nigga talking shit to these folks in his house. I was like, yes, nigga, like yes, tell that nigga fuck him for coming in the house like with the audacity to
Right.
tell your auntie who just lost her son that she gotta go on TV and keep the peace. And it's like, no, bro. And I
Yeah,
like
right.
Omari Hardwick's part where he was like, that's what they do. They have if they thinking if the mom doesn't want this place to burn down, then why should you think it should burn
Right.
down?
Right.
And it's like that kind of puts an unfair pressure on the mom because
Mhm.
she mad as hell, but at the same time, she don't necessarily want to cause hell,
Mhm.
but she is mad as a motherfucker. And so she in a weird predicament. And so it was interesting to watch that lady. I'm not sure what the actress's name is. Like watch her reaction to it because she was like full of fury when they first like dropped the verdict and she was outside talking all that shit and Nate Parker
Yeah.
had to like hold her back and stuff. But then like at the house, I guess she was just probably like emotionally drained and exhausted. And she was just like, you know what, fuck this, bro. Like I'll make a statement, whatever, type of thing. So that was real interesting to me. I liked that we were able to have that privilege to see that part of
Go inside the house.
yeah.
And that's a real good point. And since we have a lady on here, that was something else that I noticed in the film was that the way not just the mother, the way she kept the peace, but also I can't remember the woman's name, but the woman who directed the jury in the in the
Yeah.
police station. Also the auntie at the beginning who was saying that she raised her. You can kind of tell that they all kind of the way that women were portrayed in there were kind of the peacemakers within there. Even the police officer that spoke up about being
A
about
woman on the
female
force.
yes, about female rights. So my question to Artika is that was that very interesting to see the depiction of the woman within the film? Like how did you feel about that specifically?
Well, the mom resonated the most with me because I was looking at it from a standpoint of she's just lost her child, and all they can say is, we need you to fix all this other stuff that's going on. Mm-hmm. But I can't get my baby back. Like, no matter what happens, yes, I can go and have another kid, but I can't get that baby back. Everything that's out here being destroyed, y'all can rebuild and figure it out. But I can't have my child back. And Absolutely. It's your fault as a police officer. Maybe not yours directly, but it is someone that you are responsible for that is the reason that I cannot have my child back. So when I look at her, I thought that it is a great testament of the strength that you have to have in a situation like that, because you're being asked to basically calm down a crowd while you're still having your issues with mourning and grief. Mm-hmm. And then even Nate Parker, I can't remember what his name was in the movie, but the aunt or grandmother, whomever it was that raised him, she wanted to make sure that things were pointed out to basically say, this should not have happened. He went out and he served his country. He did this, he did that. And yet y'all still treated him this way because she saw through all the BS. Absolutely. And that's essentially what it was. It was, you weren't supposed to be here because you look like you look. Mm-hmm. And because you look like you look, I took it into my own hands to handle the situation. Yeah. I'm sorry your child was a casualty in it, but he shouldn't have been recording me while I was doing my job, which... How dare you think that you're not supposed to be recorded while you're doing your job?
Absolutely.
And
go ahead.
His
name was Link in the movie.
Link. Okay.
For Link.
I'm be honest, I'm totally bad with names. I remember that the son's name was like KJ or something like that. Yep. And that was pretty much it for me.
Gotcha. So a few things that comes out of there, which was very important, was seeing that the mom about I think she was the auntie, about being a veteran, and that, you know, those things like what you just brought up about him being a veteran, he just shouldn't have been there anyway, coming on to serve the country, which I saw that stereotype, I guess, in there because a lot of times they say, hey, veterans fight, you know, go out there and serve justice for the United States, but when they come home, they can't even get a job. And then to see the insight of a black veteran who went out there, served for his country, you know, in the name of, you know, America and justice, but then come home and can't even get justice for his son who was murdered, which is a deep one for me paying attention to that. Did anyone else notice that stereotype of just kind of just seeing that narrative as play out as well as seeing the rest of the movie play out? And like, how did you feel about that?
Man, it made me think of the Black Panther Party, because they were there was a lot of people who were in the Black Panther Party were ex-military men and women who had served in like Vietnam, and they had come home with all that training, and so they were already militarized, and they turned into militant people as well, which is why they were considered so dangerous. Is because these are well-trained killers and they're coming back home, and then they're finding out that the people that they love have been wronged, and now they're not just like civilians anymore. Now they can do what they want to do. They have these guns still. Like, it's like Dr. Dre said, like, y'all want to talk about guns like I ain't got none. What you think, I sold them all? Like, bitch, I still got all these guns from the war. And you want to talk shit to me and do it and like treat my people bad. Like, I'm not a civilian anymore. I could take matters into my own hands if I would like, which is what we ended up seeing in the film. Is they went ahead and they loaded up the guns, they put on their vests, and they walked in tactically. Like, this is what we're doing. It's just like any other mission we did overseas. We're gonna walk in here, we're gonna take over, and that's how we're gonna do this. And they're gonna have to deal.
And that part to me was like an amazing part, because you saw what people have been telling us to do for so long. Is, hey, we need to be militant and, you know, make sure that these things don't happen and this and that. Just kind of seeing, like, once you figured out they were all from the military, even Amari Harvard's character, where he was like, hey, we knew each other, but we lived in the same neighborhood, but we didn't know each other until we went off to war. and then come back. Just seeing that they were ready to literally die for one another going in that police station, because there was really nothing, you really didn't know, realistically you didn't know what the outcome was.
Yeah.
But seeing them being able to really take that place in a matter of seconds, barricade it, and then do what they wanted to do within there, was very telling, because you never think about if folks from the army really did click up and go into a place and wanted to take it, like they really could.
Yeah.
They really, really could. But just thinking about the brotherhoodship of what was going on, because you had, what was it? It was about five uh black men who took this police station, and something that was very interesting to me was that once they took this police station and everyone was in there, there was a scene in the movie later on where Nate Parker's character Link said, the plan was not for any of the police to get hurt in the first place. But seeing throughout that, you could clearly see them treat everyone in there with respect. Even the one officer interrupted and Link says, "No, say your piece." Um, do you think that in that situation that we could really treat uh the people opposing us with respect like that? It was almost like a Martin Luther King moment. Uh, but it was a Martin Luther King moment with a Malcolm X action, I guess, if that makes sense. What do you think about just the entire way that they treated everyone in there with care? Like they didn't, like from the police officers to even the nonviolent criminals, they treated them all with care and respect. But on the opposite side, the police was so, even though they were in a situation where they were powerless, they still treated nobody like respect. What is y'all take on that? Just that situation in hand and how that played out.
I wouldn't have
Oh,
been able to do it. Especially
ignorance
like with
is
the one
over.
officer that like jumped up like he was gonna fight somebody, but he chained. Like
Yeah.
he would have got pistol whipped by me, chained and all.
Yeah. It would have been very hard to entertain that police officer specifically, because what I kept telling myself when he was acting the fool was just like, this nigga just will not relinquish the idea that he is in control. Like
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
he has been bred to believe that he has control of these situations so well that even when he's chained up, he still feels like he's winning.
Mhm.
And it's like, bro, you not in control. I would have had to shoot him in the leg or something just to remind him that he's like, I would have been
Yeah.
like, bro, you are expendable, bro. Like you can die here today. That's
Right.
that's what can happen if you keep talking. That
But he
kind of
did realize that he was expendable when they told him to call his wife.
Mhm.
Like at that moment was when it clicked for him that hey, like I could lose it all.
yeah. No, I
We
was
talking
talking about
about
the other dude. I was
Oh,
talking
the
about
other
the
guy.
other guy. Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the one
Dominic
that was his
Reyes.
lawyer.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Theo Rose's character.
Yeah.
Um,
I was talking about him, but him as well, because he was kind of like playing it close to his chest for most of the time. Whenever they asked him questions, he would just kind of try to toe the line until he finally broke down and was able to for real admit, like, yeah, I did it because they was black. Like
Mhm.
they was driving
absolutely.
through the wrong neighborhood. They was black. What y'all expect me to do?
Absolutely. And
Um, I was gonna say,
go ahead.
for me, the thing that I looked at was his end goal, because his end goal wasn't to harm anybody or anything like that. The end goal was just to seek justice for his son. His son didn't have a voice in the court because it was in the grand jury,
Yeah,
and he was his son's voice in the court. And I think going into it, like, well, what you would think going into it, right is right and wrong is wrong, and that's what justice is supposed to look like.
Mhm.
You did somebody wrong, justice is supposed to prevail, no matter who you are or what badge you carry. Um, they found out the truth, and that's what it was so important. I paid attention to: can you be unbiased? Can you,
hmm
or is that the right
yeah,
word to say? Can you
Yeah.
be unbiased in figuring out what's in this court system, because if they would have found him not guilty, it would have took a lot for Link, Nate Parker's character, to be like, okay, but he seems to be prepared for them to say not guilty, along with him being prepared to say guilty. Because in the whole mindset was, I just want a guilty verdict because you did us wrong. Period. Justice is supposed to prevail because that's what it's made for. And a lot of times we, like in looking at the real situation, we never get justice because I always claiming to, we wasn't considered when this country was writing the rules. You know, that needs to be looked at completely. Like, I don't understand how you can kill a person and there's no consequence for it. An unarmed person that you know is unarmed.
But
Or person,
let's talk about that rule, because there was a important moment that happened within the film where KJ was explaining exactly what was
Mhm.
uh, in the law of what they can do, and it was very telling because you can actually defend yourself against the officer. And at that point, Link, the father, walks in and is like, "Look, forget everything you've learned about that, and just do what saying. Do what you got to do to get home to me." Uh, Even with his friend on the other end, his friend was even. You can tell the difference in between the schools, because at that point, KJ was going to a better school, and that was because the father got a job there. Whereas his friend was still in the hood with the other school. You even hear KJ talk about the school as where they were playing Gucci Man over the radio,
yeah,
and there wasn't a fight in the building. So, you know, that is telling in itself, because all right, this one school is teaching its students about how to defend themselves against uh, police, pretty much. Whereas our school is pretty much saying, "Hey, that doesn't work for us." What was your, you just brought up the whole thing about the rule and why it doesn't work. What did you feel like specifically, Tommy? What did you feel like in that moment when he was telling him that? Um, what was your reaction then?
that's the truth. I wrote down the law is the law, but it's different for us. Um, we're just trying to make it home. Like I always had, like when talking about the things, I think about the decision that a man had to make in 1942, and I use 1942 as just a random number. But a man has to either belittle himself to make it home to his family, or he can stand up and die. What decision do you make? Because looking at it now, it's like, how do I still provide for my family if I'm not here? You know what I'm saying? Like I could make the decision to say I'm not gonna take this in 1942. Today I can make the decision I'm not gonna take this. How does that affect my family, my wife, my daughter? You know what I'm saying? So him telling them that, I think it's completely unfair that we have to think like that and we have to have the talk, and we can look at these rules, we can know these rules, but at the end of the day, what does those rules really mean?
Gotcha.
Because of the
That's a
color
good
of our
point, bro.
skin.
That's a good point when you said like how does me standing up in 1942 affect my wife and my daughter? Like, and I'm assuming you mean like if I was to die here today, how
Right.
does that affect my daughter? But then on the other side, I look at it is like, how does it affect your wife and daughter if you don't die and you continue to subject yourself to this bullshit?
That's true
Like
too.
now it's a prolonged experience. This continues to happen, and your wife and daughter continue to have to worry about your ass for the rest of your life because of that. Like, if you die, they ain't worried no more. They like,
Right.
damn, that might went out like a G. They gonna be sad as a motherfucker, but they gonna be like, that nigga had to do what he had to do, and fuck them police. But like, if you don't stand up for yourself, yes, they're gonna be happy that you made it home, but they gonna still have to worry about you all the time. Anytime that you go out and it's dark outside, anytime you go outside and it's fucking light outside, if you get pulled over, it's gonna be a worrisome situation. And so I think that's something that needs to be considered as well. It's just like both sides. You weigh in like the consequences of both of those actions. And honestly, like in the moment, it's just gonna be what it is. however you feel at that moment is how you gonna feel at that moment.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not sure like when the last time you got pulled over by the police and whether or not you mouthed off to the police, but like that has happened on several occasions for me where I'd be like, damn, bro, I could have died right there. But like in the moment, I couldn't stop myself. I was just like, bro, fuck this nigga. Like I can't really subject myself to his belittlement and shit. Like I remember being pulled over one time. I was leaving Derek's birthday get together and I left early because I felt sick and I come to find out I had the flu and shit. But like I left early. I'm driving on the interstate on fucking I-40. And before I get to the Covington Pike exit, just for reference for Artica and shit, like I get pulled over for going the fucking speed limit. Like I'm sick, nigga. I'm not speeding. I get pulled over, and then the dude come up to the car and he like, bro, do you know how fast you was going? I was like, yeah, bro, I was going 60 miles an hour. And he was like, what you doing out at this time? I'm like, nigga, I'm sick and I'm trying to get home. That's what I'm doing out at this time.
It's not a crime to be out.
Yeah, like it's not a problem for me to do that. Let me see your license. Da da da. Give him my license. I'm like, bruh, here. He take the license. You got insurance? Yes, fool. It's on my goddamn phone. Fool. Here. This is my insurance. All right. And then all right, man, just get home. That kind of thing. Like, nigga, you bothering me. Like you bothering me for no reason. Then another time I got pulled over going to my uncle's house. I get into the turning lane at fucking Alcee and shit. Like about to turn down Alcee. And I get right onto Alcee. I'm about to pass by Mapco and shit. And then I get pulled over. And then the nigga like, hey man. And I'm like, what's up? And then he like, oh, okay. I thought you didn't have your seatbelt on. I'm like, nigga.
I feel like I've been pulled over by that officer before.
Nigga. I'm like, obviously, I got this white shirt on and shit. Nigga, you can see the band across my shit, bro. Like, and so it just be taking everything in your power not to talk bad to people who are just being dumbasses and assholes. Right. And so, like, in that moment, yes, you may be able to have the cognitive awareness to be like, I want to make it home today. But other times you just don't, bro. Because you just annoyed. You're like, leave me the fuck alone.
Had that issue. I remember getting pulled over one time on my way to work, and the officer told me he thought I was talking to somebody in my passenger seat who didn't have on a seatbelt. There's nobody in my car but me. I'm on my way to work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what person did you see here? He was like, I thought they were crouched down. I said, so you thought I was talking to a person that was crouched down in my car that didn't have a seatbelt on? How would you have known that there was a person crouched down? Because the seatbelt would have been the indicator that someone was crouched down, because you would have seen the seatbelt being pulled. But you just thought there was a person over there. Like literally, I'm driving to work singing songs to myself. My radio didn't work in my car. And I'm just riding, trying to get to work. That's all I'm trying to do. And it was one of those situations where I did mouth off at the guy. And I was like, what? Like, where did you see? Tell me what you saw. And he couldn't. He just let me go. And I mean, thankfully, he did just let me go. But I had a bad attitude that day with him.
That's interesting. Man, thanks for sharing those stories. I think we've all had those situations. I know I had it a lot. I have a real, like a bad type of, I have a problem with authority sometimes. So me running into police is so used to end up into a bad thing. But I was always, I don't want to use the word lucky enough, but I was never bothered. They was kind of like, oh, and they left me the hell alone. But let's talk about that moment, that scene of when it first comes on and they're stopped. And then also I want to fast forward a little bit to the courtroom as well, as we get to everything, the truth. But first off, that moment of them being stopped, and the first thing I noticed was the blinking red light from his chest, which I'm thinking in my mind is his cam isn't even on. So at the very beginning of it, I'm thinking already like, yo, this got to be like, it's already some dirty stuff, because his cam isn't even on. It looked like it's just blinking red, and I would think it would be like green or blue if it was on, but it looks like it's just blinking red. Um, we go from, from that moment of being stopped, asking for the insurance, not even allowing him to get the second insurance because the first one he gave was expired. And we all know how much crap we keep in the glove compartment.
Yeah.
To him being searched, to KJ having the cell phone camera, to KJ infamously being shot in the street. So let's fast forward to the courtroom of when we found out Officer Michael, which was Bo Knapp's character, the one that actually shot KJ. Let's get to it, man. When we get to his truth, his actual truth of, yes, I profiled him, and that's why we stopped him. Because the whole thing was supposed to be he was speeding. But when Nate Parker's character Link says you have speed bumps within 25 feet of one another, there's no way we could be speeding. We were slowing down. That's how you saw us. And then immediately you saw the change in the room. Let's get to Officer Michael's truth when he finally has to let it out. How did y'all feel? Did you feel like victory, justice, or did you feel disgusted and upset?
I feel like we knew that already.
Yeah.
Like you didn't tell me anything I didn't know about you.
Right. Well, we definitely knew that he profiled that kid, them both of them.
But I did like that it took place in that courtroom environment.
Right.
Whereas, like, we don't normally get that situation when we have like the grand jury trying to decide whether or not they're going to indict somebody. Right. We don't even get to see that shit. We just have to hear the verdict afterwards. Right. We don't get to see the process. We don't get. It's not even like a fucking case, really. It's just like some niggas went in the room and was like, all right, what we gonna do? And then it was just like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. They come out and tell us, niggas. And we don't get to be a part of that process at all. We don't know what happened, what was said, what the facts look like. We don't know anything. It's not like the O.J. Simpson trial. So, like, it's not televised, none of that shit. And so for us to be privy and to be able to be in there, which is probably something that should be done, the fucking victims' parents and people need to be able to be a part of that process and kind of like at least see it, if not present what was going on, like at least see the process.
Yeah, one of the better parts about that courtroom environment was that the jurors got to ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually going to get to that.
Being able to ask questions for clarity can always catch a person in a lie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the easiest way to catch a person in a lie is to ask them a question, because you can't, usually when you're lying, you can't remember what you just said.
Mm-hmm. And let's get to that moment, because I want to, it was so technical within that moment, because Link wasn't a lawyer at all, but yet he picked the story apart piece by piece. First asking, what speed were we going? Then telling them there were speed bumps within 20 feet of each other. There's no way we could be speeding. Literally picking apart everything that they said, to the point that Officer Michael literally had to spit it out. Yes, I profiled him. Literally couldn't hold in the lie anymore. He even asked for, hey, let's go get the paperwork to see how fast we were going. Literally to the point where there was nothing left. And then I think one iconic moment in the film didn't even come from Link. I think it came from the prisoners. I can't remember the Muslim's name, but I do have the sorry, you guys. I do have the one prisoner, which is let me see if I got his actual name here. His actual name is Mo McRae. He was the one that did a lot of the talking in the jury room. He was like, we're here to find out the truth, homeboy. But it was a telling time right there where they really were like, so if you didn't profile them, then KJ never gets shot, and then that man and his son make it home. And at that point, it was just pretty much silence before I think the jury goes off the delegate. Well, no, it was before that one prisoner attacked the one dude for wrongly arresting him. That was a a telling moment because the jury, like Artika brought up, was just those two alone made it all make sense just by asking a simple question. Even when the other officer was like, "This ain't how it works. Like they're just supposed to judge and shut the fuck up." But in truth, it was a total complete change, and it got them to the deciding justice. You know, deciding factor, the actual justice, getting the man to actually speak their truth.
Yeah.
Is that something that we should have in courtrooms? Should the jury be able to? Should there be a moment where the jury is asking for complete clarification and just asking a simple question? Because it was the simplest question. There was a couple moments there where it was like, told that one dude, he said, "So you're colorblind?" Because he was saying, "I don't see color. I have a black. We have a black captain." Kind of equating to, "I have black friends." You know, even that moment, is that something that is that something really that should be done in the courtrooms? Do you think that that's something that could be beneficial, or is that just
No,
scary?
no, I think that takes away from people actually defending themselves um, with their lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Because I can come in and already have a biased mindset of he's guilty. Like you take the OJ case, I'd have been like, there's nothing in this world would have convinced me that OJ didn't either A, do it, or B, have something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? And I could have asked a million questions. I would have been asking questions to prove that he did it. You know, um, but they can ask questions to the judge, I believe, for like clarity questions. But they can't ask like you can't ask a witness.
Mhm.
So what was the speed limit or something like that? You know, the lawyers have to actually do that, and
Well, even
that's
though
what I
you
think it
can't,
takes from that part.
And
well,
I
even
disagree.
though, oh yeah, I was gonna say, even though you can't, like, if it was a specific moment within the trial that, hey, this juror can ask one question for clarity. Article, you said quickly that you disagree.
Mhm.
Let us know why you disagree.
Like I said, you can ask questions for clarity, and if it's gonna throw you off, that means there was a hole in your story. Because if it's the truth, then it shouldn't be that difficult to. If somebody asks you, like an example, what was the speed limit? Well, do you actually know the speed limit that was on that street? Because the correct answer is I don't know. But if you make up a speed limit and somebody interjects and it's like, nope, you were wrong, that puts a hole in your story.
Mm. Gee, what's your thoughts?
Shit, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know if I think you should be able to ask questions or not. I liked it in the movie. I thought it was cool in the movie,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure as far as like I don't know what the effects of that would be um, in the majority of cases. In that one, it was great. It was like this nigga lying, obviously, and
Yeah.
we need to expose his lie,
Mhm.
and so it helped a lot. And so maybe it would be beneficial in courtrooms. I'm not sure if it would.
Maybe they could do it as like part of the deliberation, like come up with a list of questions, bring it back.
Yeah, there you go.
And that way it's not Artika, the juror, asking you the question, but it's we, the jury, asking you
Asking the
these
question.
questions.
That's a good
Yeah.
way. I like that. I like that because I guess what they say the court is. You're in the court of the public opinion, but you're getting defended by your lawyer, who, in most cases, you tell your lawyer what they're there to do a job, regardless if you're telling the truth or not.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
Only thing they gotta prove is doubt. That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know?
But for the jury to accurately juror, or however you want to say it, they need to know. I would
But
think that they need to
that's the
know
whole
something.
thing from when we talk about snitching from on our podcast when we talk about that. That's the whole part of it. Like I always say, don't volunteer information. Make them work for it. Like that's the point. Like the jury is the jury asking questions the way that they did in the movie. Yes, like I'm agreeing with Greg. I loved it in the movie because it proved the point of that this nigga was lying. But in real court, nah. You know
But
what
why
I'm saying?
not?
Because like you have your lawyers to prove to the jury that you didn't do it. Like the judge is there to make sure that things are hey, you got your turn, you got your turn. then I'm gonna sentence it. But the jury is there to say you're either guilty of whatever the act is or you're not. The job of the
So
lawyer is to
that's
prove.
important. That's important.
The job of the lawyer is to prove doubt. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing the lawyer has to do is to prove. Because go back to the O.J. Simpson case, the what they call the prosecutors asked O.J. to put this glove on. They knew that glove didn't fit on his hand. His hand had swelled up. So he tried to put it on. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. That proved doubt right there. The juries could have asked, well, was his hand swollen or does he have medicine or anything like that? And that would have proved that his hand was swollen and his hand couldn't fit in the glove right there. But that's not the jury's job. The jury's job is to prove if he's guilty or not guilty. It's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because when they actually started deliberating, I'm sorry, we kind of fast forward a little bit, but like when they started to deliberate in the room with each other, and the black lady first asked like, okay, how many people think he's guilty? How many people think he's not guilty? And you had some people that was like not guilty. And then the people who said not guilty started
reputation.
Yes, talking about his reputation, talking about his character and shit like that. And I had to pause the movie, and I was in here by my goddamn self, talking loud as hell, like nigga, that ain't got shit to do with what we asked you.
Absolutely,
like, we don't give a fuck who he is and his history and all that shit. None of that shit matters.
Right?
Did he do the thing that we saying he did or not? That's all. Because they trying to save him from the punishment, which ain't even in your hands. You don't even get to decide the punishment, nigga. You not the judge. So you don't get to be like, because his reputation might be ruined. I don't give a fuck what happened to him, nigga. Did he do it or did he not? That's your job. Your job as the jury is just determine guilt or not. And these niggas was in that motherfucker really trying to say this is a good person, and that we don't give a fuck how good this person is. Like this could be the Dolly goddamn llama. And if this nigga did it, he did. That's just it. And then you figure out what's gonna happen. And I thought it was cool that they had like the filmmaker dude, the little kid, was like the last person to really talk about it. And he was torn because he had those same thoughts of like, damn, I don't really want to fuck up nobody's life and shit. But it is what it is, kind of like the dude Tattoo said. Like it is what it is, bro. Like if you did it, I'm sorry, but this is for the function of society as a whole. This ain't got shit to do with you. It's a precedent being set here. And so they come back with the verdict and shit later, which is my favorite part of the fucking movie.
Man.
I'm glad that you brought up your favorite part, G. But briefly, I want to say that I would like to see the courts modified to where to get a better verdict, or at least closer to accurate verdict, that they could put something in place so that these folks can better accurately juror, like we saw in the OJ case. Clearly, it was the wrong decision, but hey, that is in the past. But it's great that you brought up your favorite moment, G. What you said was when they brought the verdict down.
It's what happened after they brought the verdict down.
Well, yeah, after that happened, which was the part where he pulls out the gun and the entire room is like
with the swiftness, bro.
With the swiftness, like losing their mind.
Everybody was sitting there like, "Oh my God!" They said he's guilty. Yeah. And before they could even like process what that meant, this nigga was like, "Bitch."
Yes. Even the sound of hearing the gun come out of the holster was great for me. Just and for the whole room to just go silent.
Yes, no, them niggas got scared. Like
completely scared.
They started looking like they was finna do something in a circle and shit. And it was just like, hold on, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like even the inmates, everybody was like in total fear of what was next to come.
Yeah.
So for me, my favorite moment is when Tattoo, which was the Mexican prisoner, was talking in his native tongue to Officer Dominic Reyes, which is Theo Russ's character. that was probably my favorite part because at that moment I didn't know he was playing a Latino man in the movie. I wasn't even thinking about it at all. Um,
No, I
and the
had been
fact
thinking that the
that
whole time.
he talked to him in his native tongue, and he didn't have enough respect to talk to him back in his native tongue, just completely disrespecting, but understood every single word.
Yeah.
That right there was a whole nother stereotype of whitewashing, I guess you could say, where somebody is so immersed into their them being, I guess, you know, of a white descent that they've completely forgotten about their own heritage and they don't even have respect for the person on the other side. That was one of my probably my favorite parts because it was just amazing. Because I don't even think the girl in the back that said that she was Latino knew that he was even Latino. It didn't seem like there was any connection at that moment until
She knew that nigga was.
yeah, until you saw that part. So it was an amazing part for me just to kind of see him talk to him like that, and then to see him completely give him no respect. Uh, Artika, Tommy, what's your favorite part during the movie?
Mm, I don't know that I had a favorite part of the movie. I guess because it was too close to art imitating the life, like what we want to see as art imitating life. And I
Mhm.
don't mean the going and holding a police station hostage and all that, but someone actually being responsible for their actions.
Yes.
That's what you want to see. You want to see someone that has killed someone be responsible for their actions, police officer or not. And it's like at the ending, he still got to live out his life. Like he got to scare his wife for a second, but who cares about her? Her husband's still coming home. This man doesn't get to see his child ever again. This woman doesn't get to see her child ever again. The little cousin doesn't get to see his cousin ever again. So when you look at it from that point, it's like, I think that it's a classic movie that I'll never need to see it again.
Mm.
But it's one of those things where it's like, I don't get to celebrate any of it because it still didn't resolve anything.
Yeah.
I love that.
It did for
The
the like
heartstrings.
changing somebody's heart,
Yeah.
one person at a time. The MLK approach of like appealing to people's better parts of themselves to like kind of like change their heart. Like, oh damn, I see what you're talking about now, that kind of thing, so that that person wouldn't do it again. Which I don't want to go into all of the issues.
But it's like the
right
people
now.
whose hearts needs to be changed. Are they even the ones watching this movie?
Nope.
That's
Yeah,
a good
they're
question.
not.
Thing.
They're
That's a
not.
good question.
That's why I feel like
That's a bigger question. That's a bigger question.
Even bigger. That's probably past this. There's
That's
one
why-
moment I want to bring up because Artika briefly said something. But I just want to bring it up and bring it to the forefront because it was so powerful to see the different reactions between. Were they married? Link and his baby mom.
Yeah,
Well,
I think they was
divorced.
not together no more yet.
okay. Well, to see those two couples and her pleading for him, hey, just come home. To seeing the officer and his wife and child, to where she just automatically thinking, "Oh, are you done? You're coming up out of there?" Like just completely just thinking that it's all fine and dandy until she figure out that he might not make it out of there, and then she starts to freak out. That was another powerful moment because you saw the difference between someone begging someone, "Hey, just come home," to someone just figuring, "Oh, you're gonna come out, you're gonna be fine." So I wanted to briefly bring that up, but I did want to get Tommy's favorite moment throughout the movie if he did have one.
The whole movie, like just sitting
That's
there.
a
I
time
thoroughly
answer.
enjoyed it. I like movies. First off, let's get that out there. I like movies, but I think this one the story was told well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so, and it's not. I don't feel like it's hard because the only thing I do is turn on the news and there's the story. You know, go back a few months and there's the story. But that was the thing that I was gonna bring up is the people that's watching it are the people that would be affected by it. the most, it's up to us to talk about this movie, to get people behind this movie, thinking about this movie to go see it. Because you think, remember, we was at UT and Crash came out. It was a big showing about Crash. Crash won awards and everything like that. But the point of Crash was to get people to talk about what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
We had a huge discussion at UT about that. But that's the key. That's the key. You have to get people to watch.
Who was a part of this conversation?
Shit, I don't remember. It was a big
Exactly.
I think it was
I
all
was
black
a
people.
part of
Though.
the conversation.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So Crash did not succeed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like that's the whole thing. It's like you like if we don't talk about it, right? Why would they even think about looking at it?
No,
there's no reason for it.
No, hell no.
So
we live it, so like we don't have to talk about it because we're living it.
Hell no, bro. Like we can't resign to like we have to make this a palatable discussion for the niggas that's doing wrong. Like we can't do that. We can't resign ourselves to like making it appealing to them. Like, oh, if we're not talking about it, then why would they talk about it? It's like, no, fuck them niggas. Like if they don't want to talk about it, it's fine. They don't have to talk about it. It's a lived reality whether you know about it or not. Like you don't have to know that I'm suffering for me to suffer.
That's the whole point. That's the point I'm making is like if we're watching this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we want other people to watch the movie.
Other black folks.
Other people. I don't care like what color you are because black people are living it. We don't have to watch this movie to know what's going on in the movie. Like we knew what the movie was about before we even watched the whole movie.
Yeah.
We just seen the trailer and was like, oh, okay, we know exactly where this came from.
Yeah.
But the point is, if we want people to watch the movie and we want to have a dialogue and we want to say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. This is the conversation I want to have with you.
I'm thinking of it as like an icebreaker.
Right. Like people have to like I would love to sit down with somebody that's like, I'm joining Parlor. Or somebody that says Breonna Taylor like got what she deserved or whatever. George Floyd shouldn't have been with the fake 20. You know what I'm saying? I would love to sit down with somebody and discuss this movie with them. Just to see what's your thought process in it. Because for me to understand, for them to understand me, I have to understand them at some point. Like I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to, be kumbaya with you or whatnot. But I do have to understand where your mindset is because change doesn't come with just me changing.
You think you don't know? You think you don't know what's going on in their mind?
I mean, I have an idea, but I don't know what's going on per se in their mind. I don't know what they're thinking. It's like the same thing between us. I have an idea of what you're thinking. I don't know what you're actually thinking.
You know.
I think I think at some point we also have to realize that there are just some people out there that just don't want to change no matter what. The thing that was surprising me is that Rotten Tomatoes gave this like a 29. Rotten Tomatoes is trash because this is an amazing movie. And yes, I said it, Rotten Tomatoes, you're trash. I'm not scared of you. So there are some people out here that just won't change their mind about it and see things. There's even other black folks who don't believe this is going on. So, I do feel that this came out at a perfect time when, hey, they decide to run up in the Capitol, So I think it was perfect timing. But also, this movie does have an ending that was pretty interesting. And, let's get to that point. Let's get to that part, the ending. How did you feel about the ending of this movie for him to do all that and also kind of see that the one officer really thought, came away with some type of change, even though it was one. It seemed like just the one came away with like, all right, I'm gonna have to think about some things more. But then all that to culminate to him ultimately still being shot without no regards. And it was almost like the roles had changed where that officer now had to defend him saying, hey, he's unarmed, and they didn't care and they shot him anyway. as if he was KJ in the car, and then going on to where they pretty much swept it up under the rug. How did y'all feel about the ending? Whether it was, you saw it coming or not, like, how did you feel about it?
I mean, I had prepared myself for, like, he ain't gonna make it out of it. Like, halfway through the movie, I was like, he's gonna die.
When we got to the ending, I kept saying he's not gonna make it out of here.
And like it was kind of like I felt unresolved because of the complete ending when Obo was sending out the movies, like the DVDs, and how quickly they stopped talking about it. I was curious what was the response to that, because that's a new part that we never get to see. You know what I'm saying? What's the response to this part? The quote unquote court case. But when he got shot and killed, I was like, I hope that the cop that was defending him at that time that killed his son would then go forward and make a life change, and it clicks. He affects one person and that affects another person, and ultimately the dominoes start to kick over. But that's just wishful thinking.
Right before G responds, I think the response was that, the documentary was made kind of like you saw the beginning at the end, and what I'm saying, which resulted in the actual film being shown. I think that was kind of the what made the when you saw him putting the DVDs into the bag for the film festival. I think that's what that meant. Like, that was the beginning of us seeing the documentary.
Okay.
G, real quick, man, the ending. What was your reaction?
Man, it was sad. even though it was predictable, it was very sad. Yeah. I didn't want to see him get shot, but I knew he was gonna get shot. Mm-hmm. Especially with the way that they had it, like, setting up and stuff. It was kind of dragging, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. And like, they did everything that they could. They did everything that they could to try to, like, shield him and stuff. Like, the dude went out in front of him, like, hey, he's unarmed, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think I still gotta be that nigga. But like, I still think that the message is still there, that, like, that's not enough, bro. Like, it's not enough that this one white dude understands now, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Because the virus of white supremacy still lives on in each one of them officers outside of that building. They didn't have that life-changing experience inside of that building that this man had. Like, they still waiting on this nigga to come out. They still hyped up on we get to shoot somebody today, which is like police culture. And so, like, they was waiting, like, as soon as I get a shot, I'm taking the shot. Which is like, maybe they could have prevented that by having somebody call outside and be like, hey, we coming outside, everybody's unarmed, we just want to get out of here alive, that kind of thing. He's turning himself in. But I still don't know if they would have let that nigga live. I still think he would have got shot. I don't think
come in and get me.
I like what you said there, G. Sorry to interrupt real quick. No, I like what you said there, G, because after it was over, I thought about alternate endings as, like, okay, I thought back, I was like, well, I wish he never would have answered the phone to talk to the negotiator and tell him exactly who he was, because they didn't know anyone. Because from what I was looking at, it seemed like they didn't know who else was in there, or even who was in there at all. And so I think that once that ending came, they knew exactly who was in there, and they knew exactly who they were going for. So it's like no questions asked once they shot him. And then the alternate ending I thought about was, why didn't he just let them arrest him inside and just call it a day, instead of everyone having to walk out? Artika, go ahead.
The only alternate ending that would have been sufficient for me was the officer now working towards police reform and how that's going to work towards another KJ incident not happening again. That's literally the only thing that would have worked for me. Like, living or dead for his dad, for Link. The only thing that would have been sufficient was, how are we going to make sure that this doesn't happen again? And
Absolutely.
that's essentially getting somebody on the inside to operate on the outside.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, man, we done had a discussion today, and we're gonna let the first lady have the last word. Uh, man, I'm so happy to discuss this movie. I've been holding this in for weeks. As I
Yeah.
told you, I watched this 3 times, and I have all my notes here on the phone. I wish our other first lady was here because I had a really, 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 really good question for her that we could share between each other because we are kind of the only two that have boys. Um,
Hmm.
so I really wanted to talk to her about that, but that is okay. Y'all drop down in the comments and let's talk about that in a later discussion. But once again, man, thank you guys for hopping on. Let's discuss. Thank you guys for the candid conversation. Thank you for the brief. It seemed like it got a little heated there. Tell me was like, look here, this is gonna be. He was like, nah,
No,
bro.
look, no, I just went losing to Greg today.
But you know, this is a conversation that needs to be had. From the looks of it, we all enjoyed the movie. Whether we only want to see it once, or we're gonna see it a couple more times. But I encourage everybody to go out there, check it out, check it out. Let's have a discussion. Let's see where it can go. Uh, on that note, anybody else got some last words?
um, I did want to get y'all opinion on why is this important. I just want to hear your answer. Like for me, it's important because the police are here to protect and serve, and when they're killing us unarmed, um, and not protecting and not serving, and we have the idea of the police as being bad, which back in the day it was normalized, and that's where we got that idea from. But my biggest thing is how do we move forward? So that's my why it's important, and it's basically trying to move forward and living a better, equal, more equal life. Um, so I just wanted to hear why you guys thought this topic is important. Everybody don't speak at once. Just say
I got nothing.
no.
What you got, G?
I'm drawing a blank as well, man. I don't know. I guess I can see what you're saying, Tommy, as far as like moving forward. Like how do we move forward having seen something like this? I think that is important because it did reimagine what this could look like. Um, Especially with determining the guilt of a police officer, what that could look like as far as it looking more fair, I guess, than the way that it already looks. But outside of that, it's just like bad thoughts.
Yeah. Um, to answer your question for me, it's kind of twofold. I think this is one of those things where I don't think it's specifically asking for change. I think it's just showing you what is going on. And, you know, this is what is going on. This is the pain. And this is what people want, which is just the truth. And this is what people are going through. On the other hand, as far as change, I don't know if the movie can change
I'm not
a lot.
particularly
Um,
just speaking on the movie, the topic itself. Police brutality, white supremacy, all those things. Like that's what I'm speaking on
yeah,
because essentially that's what it is.
yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think the movie was just is showing you that. Um, even for the people who think it doesn't exist, it's literally showing you. I don't know if it has. It's important to show. That's why I think it came out as such a great moment in time because this is all that was going on for the past 4 years while a certain person was in office. Um, but as far as moving forward, I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank. Like Artika and G, we kind of like I don't know. I don't know if this is the catalyst to get the discussion going. Because like we already seen, Rotten Tomatoes already trying to bury a movie that we all know is a good movie, to get people not to go see it. So is I don't know where we go from here, but I think the visual is more important than how we move forward with it. It's gonna spark something in someone to figure out how do we proceed, how do we use this. But for now, it's one of those things where you figure out that fat meat is really greasy. For some people who just don't believe it. So yeah, that's my thoughts. And for everyone that's listening in, go ahead, man. Answer Tommy question down in the comments below. Also, please ring that bell and subscribe. And man, let's continue to discuss.